General Greene here at islandproject.com. Exit the United States now. A 7-step guide. Please like and share a 7-step practical guide revealed today on how to exit the crumbling United States of America, a collapsing stock market. How to exit just like Warren Buffett just sold most of his Apple stock. How to pivot, leverage, and profit during World War III, during economic collapse, during what we're seeing in crypto today. I'm going to go over all this and a whole heck of a lot more with this 7-step, very specific, practical guide to exiting the United States now while you still can. Now, please like and share this. Let me know that you have audio and visual. Crush these algorithms and leave a comment like 1000x so I can go in and heart it later. Like it, follow y'all, and make sure to follow me at AMTV Media. I hope you enjoyed our video yesterday. We're traveling all over the beautiful islands of Thailand. Amazing, showing you some really cool images, spending some quality downtime with family and friends. We're going to talk about that a little bit today as well, how important that is with everything that is going on. I mean, even God himself had a day of rest, had a Sabbath, ladies and gentlemen. So that's important in this high-flying, crucial, emergency, red alert, 5-alarm drill fire that's taking place in the United States that will guarantee destroy you and your families if you're not taking proven, decisive action, diversifying outside of sovereign risk, investing your assets in the right locations, and a whole lot more I'll be discussing today. Again, by popular demand, many of you commented, Christopher, give us a guide on how to exit, profit, and diversify ourselves in this environment that we currently see. So a couple things that I wanted to comment on. Notice, and I was right about this, I did say crypto would dump as soon as Donald Trump started touting it. In fact, if you follow me on Twitter, I said that in a tweet. I said, now that Trump's touting it and talking about it at his political rallies, expect Bitcoin to dump. And then you're going to want to buy that dip. That's exactly what's happening right now. Also, we're seeing in the financial markets, of course, America's completely rigged. It's one giant Ponzi scheme scam of debt and lies and bailouts. They've been doing this for years. It's financial manipulation at the highest level. So I'm telling you to get out. But we're now seeing things like the yen carry trade unravel. The Japanese yen, I was just in Japan, we're buying assets in Tokyo as well. There's some fantastic opportunities. I've been talking about this for a long time. In fact, if you've been watching me in Maui or Oahu or Waikiki, I've been telling you one of the reasons we've been looking at Tokyo real estate is because of that yen carry trade relationship. What that means is investors have been borrowing cheap yen, mostly hedge funds and the too big to fail banks for years, taking the cheap yen and investing it overseas in places like America for higher yield. Now that the Bank of Japan, to save itself, because global governments are collapsing, especially the United States and the central bank specifically in the United States, the Bank of Japan has raised their interest rates barely by anything, like 25 basis points. That forces a cascading collapse, a sovereign debt collapse, where the big investors now have to sell their U.S. investment asset class to pay back the debt that was once at 0% but is now bumped 25 basis points. And what they're concerned about is the Bank of Japan will continue raising interest rates and it will force more selling. Japan is just one case of this, by the way. It's not it's just one country in one policy, but it's proving the point that the United States is so interconnected to the rest of the world, expect total global implosion. Like, again, this isn't going to be easy, guys. I've always told you the truth. This isn't going to be easy. You're in World War III. Okay, you need to get your money out of the banks now like your life depends on it, because it does. You need to follow this 7-step guide, which I'm going to reveal to all of you today. And you need to start making these moves while you still can. I see a lot of you say things like, Christopher Willis, as soon as my crypto meme coin pumps, I'm going to onboard Island Project. as soon as this happens, as soon as my dog stops eating my homework, as soon as this event strikes, you're going to onboard and make the move. Well, I'm here to tell you it's going to be too late. I've been telling you this for months. Like, again, your meme tokens that you own backed by nothing are going to zero. I don't know what you don't understand about that. There's no cash flows. There's no business model. There's no asset. So if you own, I'll be blunt, dog shit coin or whatever it is, expect it to go to zero. You're going to lose everything. And I see people do this all the time. They'll invest hundreds of thousands of dollars and send me messages. They're like, Christopher, I just bought 150 grand of dog shit coin today. Woohoo! It's going to the moon. And I'm like, and they're like, I'll get into Island Project a little bit later. A month passes. They send me another text message. Their dog shit coins at zero, and then they never onboard an Island Project. A secure asset, no bank debt, physical, cash flows, diversified in multiple sovereigns. But I'm not even here to talk to you about that today. I'm going to specifically talk about the 7-step action guide, like and share, on how you and your families can practically exit the United States. But in addition to that, not only protect you and your family from that risk, but profit. You should be profiting. The whole point is to protect you and your families, right? So I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that today. Total economic meltdown. Warren Buffett is selling all of his stock, sold Apple computers. I'm sure he's selling more. Remember, the mainstream media and the fake news says Buffett sold 50% of his Apple stock. It's probably 100%. That'll come out later. You'll be the last to hear about it. By that time, though, your 401ks and retirement accounts will be trading at zero. All your shit tokens will be at zero by then, okay, which is what I've been telling you. It'll be much too late. So we see all of Wall Street imploding, stock market down 2 days in a row, crypto tanking, buy the dip, that's what I'm doing. You're going to want to buy that dip. Trump touts Bitcoin, it collapses, just like I said. Again, do the opposite of whatever they're saying at any given time. When BlackRock started touting it, it collapsed so that they can buy it cheap. Same thing with Trump. The list goes on and on. I mean, these things are very easy to predict. So we've seen other major elites sell all their stocks. Tim Cook is selling all of his stocks. He's been doing that. There's been you can follow all these financial reports. I've been telling you this for years, guys. Jeff Bezos is selling everything. Elon Musk is selling everything. Mark Zuckerberg is selling everything. See, they're securing their and their family's wealth for the future. They don't care about you. None of you. They could care less about any of you. They've sold their stocks. They're going to dump it to you. Okay? They've bought all their yachts, all their real estate, like what we're doing here at islandproject.com too. We're doing the same model. The same model that you should be doing, that all these other people are doing. Again, America is one big racket. It's one big scam. It's bailouts. It's financial manipulation. It's central bank policy. Learn how to make money while the ship is sinking. Okay, be smarter than the mainstream media and your friends. If your friends are broke, don't take any financial advice. Only listen to rich people. Okay, it's very simple. If you want to change your life, emulate and mirror those far more successful than you. This is what I do. I read a lot of books. I've got tons of mentors. After I've done my due diligence on a topic or investment class, and I see that it is a fantastic opportunity, I go all in. I did this with social media, made millions. E-commerce, made millions. Did it with Bitcoin, made tens, hundreds of millions. Doing it with islandproject.com, we're taking it to billions. Go all in. Very easy to see. It's a simple roadmap. Again, every media pundit's telling you America's done, it's collapsing, Armageddon, blah, 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 prepare for bank runs, but very few people are actually doing anything. I'm just telling you to take advantage of it. Profit from America's collapse. Just like 1929, the world's richest families made all of their money buying the dip in 1929, and that's how they got rich. Keep in mind, most Americans admire Elon Musk. Elon Musk is only in it to make money. He is a billionaire for a reason. He's in it to profit. He's in it to make money. He's in it to sell. Jeff Bezos doesn't care about you. He's in it to sell, take over market share, dominate, and enrich and empower his family, and replace his wife with a new one, and buy more yachts. They do not care about you. None of these people do. So it's funny to me, the American people worship all these people like Elon Musk is God. They could care less about you. They're extracting all the wealth from America as it burns. Now keep in mind, these people are in charge. They're the ones running the show. They're the ones working with the deep state. They're the people financial engineering. They're on Wall Street manipulating markets. You don't work on Wall Street. I don't. I'm not in charge of central bank policy. I'm not a politician. It's these people driving the Titanic into an iceberg. I'm telling you to be smarter, take advantage of what's happening, pivot, leverage, profit, protect, and ensure your family's survival and economic, spiritual future. We'll talk about both components. So, without further ado, the 7-step guide on how to get ready, how to get prepared, how to exit the United States, because your life does depend on it today. Now, this does not mean to say there's still not opportunities in the United States. Most of my personal wealth, for example, full disclosures, in the USA. It'll continue to be. Most of my financial portfolio, most of my real estate investments on our assets is a part of island projects in Maui. It's in Oahu. It's in the best locations in the world. It's in Park City, Utah. It's in the sure bets. So there's still outstanding investment opportunities in the USA, but there's a lot more opportunity now internationally diversifying to round out the risk spectrum so you don't have all your eggs in one basket, which is what, you want to do. Your mom always told you, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Go seize other opportunities. So here's point number 1. Remove your money from the banks. If the banks are failing and they're going to zero and there's going to be bank runs, like I've been telling you, and capital controls, if there's going to be cyber events and hacks of traditional banking infrastructure, which is what the elites are telling you, it's very simple. Remove your money from the banks. Now, people ask me, well, Christopher, how do I do that? Well, you can keep some working expenses in a bank, to pay a credit card bill or your mortgage or some basic, lifestyle expenses or something. Keep a minimal amount at the bank, but then remove everything else. Remove your liquidity, remove your money. By doing that, you remove their control over you. And most importantly, you eliminate third-party counterparty risk at the U.S. banking failed, crumbling infrastructure, too big to fail bailout firm banks. By removing your capital, you remove third-party counterparty risk. So when the liquidity crisis hits and the banks close, right, they tell you don't have access to your money. Sorry, capital controls have been declared. It's World War III and an emergency. We have to institute these controls. You're not in a position where they have control over you. Remove your money from the banks. Point 1, very easy to do. Just go to your bank, remove your money. Many of you will have trouble doing it. You'll find out very quickly that the banks don't have your money. People come to me all the time. They're like, Christopher, I didn't really believe you at first, but I went to the bank, tried to withdraw $100,000. They wouldn't give it to me. And I've got other people, and they'll even call my dad again and be like, dude, we just went to the bank, tried to withdraw $100,000. It's been months. They have to go fight to get their money. You'll find really quickly. Go to the banks, withdraw your money, remove your assets, and you'll find they don't have it. So I'm telling you to do this before everybody else wakes up to this. 2, deploy and diversify into real, tangible asset classes. What does this mean? Well, gold, obviously, it's tangible. It's why it's breaking new all-time highs. That's a signal. It's the canary in the coal mine proving the point that America's done. The economic, financial markets will implode. That's why Warren Buffett's selling all the stock. He's not selling it because he thinks prices are going up. Warren Buffett's selling all of it because he's building the largest cash pile in history of Berkshire Hathaway to buy the BLOOD on the streets while Americans suffer and the middle class gets absolutely eviscerated. So you want to buy real assets. That includes gold. Bitcoin is a real asset as well. But the number one real asset is real estate. Why? And this is what I tell you all the time. It's actually what I do with my own money. Real estate is the only real asset, tangible asset that produces cash flows. It's the only one with tenants. It's the only one with a physical nature to it, where you can actually use it for shelter. Real estate, which is real, like includes land, which can be productive, right? It can yield even physical crops in some cases. You can subdivide it. You can do this with properties. You can, for example, do a spec build like we're doing in Maui right now. I'm building a 10,000 square foot 3-home mansion. Total big compounds, part of islandproject.com. 10K feet, huge, 3 houses. By building multiple properties, taking a little risk with the physical asset with no bank debt, we're creating profits for ourselves and all of our members long term in the best location in the world. So there's productive value to a real asset. Again, it's the only physical tangible asset that produces cash flows. When crap hits the fan, you can actually use it. Your family can stay there. I encourage you, if you've got the money. You know, I have friends that do this. They take my advice all the time. I mean, most of my friends have money because I hang around other very successful people like I tell you guys to do. And what are they doing? They're buying condos. They're buying, cash flow producing condos on the beach. They'll buy one for $1.5 million. They'll buy another one for $2 million. They'll buy one for $1 million. And then they'll rent it out, create cash flows. They'll even at times take some debt on it, let other people pay it off over the next 20, 30 years, 15 years in some cases. And by then, 15, 20 years, they have cash flow producing assets debt free, because you always want to be out of debt. Everything we buy is out of debt. We don't have any bank debt. We own it all outright. All my members own it physically outright. Doesn't matter what happens in the financial markets. And then they just spit off cash flow and continue to appreciate long term. It's as simple as that. I mean, if you can afford it, which many people can't, buy a house for each child in your family. I have some other friends. They bought like 15 homes in Phoenix, Arizona in 2008 and 09, and then gave it to 2 of their kids, so that the kids now, and these kids are really smart, but they have learning disabilities, so the parents are doing everything they can to set them up, and they've just divided the houses, so each kid's managing 7 homes apiece, all being paid off, all appreciating, all creating cash flows. It's a very good strategy. So real estate is the only physical, tangible asset that produces cash flows, which you can use for tenants, which is also physical shelter, which can create value and productive value in some cases, can yield crops, subdividing opportunities, spec building opportunities. You can even do things like, I see it in Oahu all the time. My dad has friends that just own parking garages, and they're rich. These parking garages make, tens of thousands of dollars a month. People just park their car and they go to the beach and they got to pay a toll. 3, diversify sovereign government risk. Don't put all your eggs into one basket. With all the global uncertainty, with physical World War III, which you're in now. Take a look at what's going on in the UK right now. Take a look at what's going on in Europe. Take a look at what's going on in the United States. Take a look at what's going on in Israel. You're in World War III. So don't put all of your risk in one sovereign, one country. Again, most of our investments are in the United States. I love the United States. The United States has some of the best real estate and asset classes in the world. That's why we own Park City. We own a ski lodge with no bank debt. We own Maui. We own Oahu, Waikiki, Kapalua, Kaanapali. But you want to internationally diversify yourself. Many of you are not internationally diversified at all. And you've spread your risk too concentrated in just one area. Also, in developing nations, there's more upside potential. Like, again, there's more long-term opportunity in places like Thailand or Bali or other countries that are on the up and up than the United States, which is already established, which the opportunities have already been extracted. Like Maui, for example, has already been discovered largely to a large degree. So when you pay prices, you're not getting steep discounts. You're paying up to live right on the ocean with the rest of the billionaire class, if it's Maui or Palm Beach or wherever these specific locations are. So with the physical World War III risk, which is a physical risk and danger to you and your families, with the stock market risk in various sovereigns, political risk in various sovereigns, and the insurgency risk, we'll just say it that, but we see what's going on, with the borders open. There's insurgency risk as well in certain sovereigns. The best thing you can do is create options and choices with your money, with your investments, with your diversification, and even your physical elimination of sovereign risk. You should have other options. Again, what's so amazing about islandproject.com is all my members have access to our host of international properties worldwide. They have access to the same opportunities I show you on camera each and every day. And they can do it far cheaper than most people. Again, we've democratized ownership of the best asset in the world for just 30 grand. You can own beachfront, everything you see behind me, for just 30K. That's never happened before in world history. I have investors, of course, with up to $1 million, which is the limit cap that I set because we didn't want one too big whale in our founders round, because our founders round is so special. But the opportunities I show you are massive and can be explored and can be utilized and are enjoyed with lifestyle enhancement, everything I'm showing you every single day with video footage. Again, what blows my mind is how the quality of life in America stinks, has soured, right? But it's more expensive. So in the United States, you'll pay 10 times more for poisonous food than you will in these other countries where you'll pay 1/10, where it costs almost nothing, but the quality is higher. And then yet Americans still are like, well, you know, America is the best country in the world. I'm just going to keep eating this poop. I'm going to keep dying again, this is why the hospitals are full. This is why most Americans are fat and overweight. It's why most Americans are in debt. They have credit cards, mortgages, which mean death. And it's why the whole country is unhealthy. If you go over to a lot of different places, people are healthier, they're skinnier, they're prettier. For example, go on a major international airline. Singapore Airlines comes to mind. You'll see every single stewardess is beautiful. Every single stewardess is in shape. Every single stewardess has a pretty smile. Everybody's happy to be there. Go to America, people are miserable, they're fat, they're lazy, they're poisoned, they're living at hospitals, which are generating tons of money and revenue off of all of you. They're corralling you just like a bunch of cows and putting you in there. And then they're putting you on all these medications and other things that cause diseases. I saw the same thing with my brother. They put him on BP medication in his 20s, and it's probably why he got cancer. Quite frankly, I even told my brother in his 20s, I said, don't go on this stuff. It'll probably, Cody, you'll probably get cancer and a tumor someday, and they'll never be able to correlate it. Years later, bone cancer. Out like a light. So again, everything the America is doing is a disease, and this is what you need to understand. So you want to diversify your sovereign risk, diversify your government risk, diversify from stock market risk, political risk, and insurgency risk. There's many other risks, but I don't have time to go over every single risk. You know, one of the big risks actually is the fact that they're getting rid of capitalism in the United States. Ever since they started instituting bailouts for the too big to fail billionaires, right, and reward them with taxpayer-infused dollars, we've gone into an oligarchical society where the upward mobility in America is less and less. So the ability to rise in a single generation in the United States is actually also declining, as well as they implement gross tyranny and overthrow it, which is why they're taking it over. They don't want America. They don't want people like you getting rich. They don't want you to own assets like what you see behind me. They don't want you to own real estate with no bank debt. They don't want you to own anything. They want a renter-based society of which you rent from BlackRock for the rest of your lives. And then they're putting all of you on universal basic income, and through inflation, hyperinflation, they will erode your Social Security, Medicare payments, and all this stuff over time to where your wealth has declined and you haven't even noticed until it's too late. I actually think it's already too late for a lot of people. I mean, home prices have skyrocketed so much. Commodity prices are skyrocketing. Gold is breaking new all-time highs. Food prices are skyrocketing in the West. Like, rents are already skyrocketing. So, like, it's already almost completed. The demolition of the wealth transfer is pretty much already here. Like, most Americans live on fake wealth, fake debt, credit cards, mortgages. And I'm here to tell you that ain't going to work long term. So if you're living on fumes of debt right now, it's all going to implode. That's why you need to get your money out of the banks now. Do it independently on your own if you can. If you've got millions of dollars laying around, God bless you. Go buy a bunch of properties right now with no bank debt. Put tenants into them. Create cash flows. Buy a little gold. Buy a little Bitcoin. And just sit and then improve your skill set and create cash flows. You're going to do great. You're going to do wonderful. If you don't have millions of dollars sitting around, and I have, millionaires in my project, obviously, get in with 30K and do the exact same thing with us. And do it fractionally with true 100% equity ownership, soon to be tokenized 1,000x on our multi-billion-dollar blockchain. See our terms, financial disclaimers. I'm not a financial advisor. Not available to the public. This is a private placement. 4, Organize meaningful communities of like minds, Christians, people that love God, family values, entrepreneurs like myself and many of you tuning in, technological innovators, which is what we do here at islandproject.com. We've created a network. Essentially what we've done is hijacked the system. We've used the power of social media. We've used the power of the internet to basically create and invent an opportunity that never existed before by using a technology that empowers people, that now allows them, blockchain is one of them, to buy the best asset class in the world in Robinhood fashion, which you could never do before in the history of the world. Now, you also want to organize with like minds and communities because you don't want to be, on an island by yourself just alone. Number one, it's not as much fun. And number two, people are powerful. People are the number one asset class. It's actually not money. America was established by people, not just one person. The idea of America is established by a community mindset. The idea of a country is an idea. All of it is. Also, you need community, not only for prosperity, but for long-term success, for offense and defense. Think about back in the day, if you're on like a small farm or something and there's 30 other people that live in your small town. All of those town members depend on each other. Let's say one of the town members' house catches fire or something, you're going to need other help from the other men to help you take down the fire and protect your property. Or maybe you have a crop that needs to be tilled or something like that. You're going to need help from time to time. Again, people are powerful. Community is powerful. This is why the elites, the oligarchs, have done everything in their power to separate all of you, right? They told you to stay in your homes, don't go to church, don't organize in 2020. They told you to stay put, be in fear, put this over your face, and isolate, because they know what I'm telling you. Community is power, people are power, organization is power. So how do the elites and the cabal prevent you from being powerful? They separate you, they isolate you, they create cultural divisions, right? This is why we see all the ideological cultural division and hate in the United States. It's all engineered. It's called divide and conquer. Keep people on the right or keep people on the left, or separate them by race or color, or sex, or whatever it might be. They're even doing this intentionally at the Olympics. That's all intentional. What you're seeing about all those arguments going on both sides is intentional. They designed that for a reason, because the more they keep you separate, non-organized, the more they keep you isolated, things like stay safe and stay in your house, the less power you have. So that's point number 4, organize, which we've done incredibly with islandproject.com. 12 nation states worldwide, from all major countries worldwide. We added Fiji actually recently. That's really cool. Samoa very recently. And we have a huge membership in Canada, huge membership in Australia that owns this, huge membership that owns from New Zealand, the United States. Texas is our biggest state. So we have the most patriots in the project from Texas, by the way. Proving the point, too, that America and freedom and liberty is an international idea. It's not just it's not like physical borders are a country. Okay, I mean, you want physical borders. But my point being is that America is an idea, right? That's really what it is. It makes up of people that love freedom and liberty, just like the cowboys planted their flag, conquering the West, or just like our founding fathers set up the 13 colonies and planted their flags. We've done the same thing here at islandproject.com, planting our flag, buying the best real estate, now internationalizing the diversified portfolio, no bank debt during stock market collapse. There's really no downside. I mean, I have to say there is some risk. Read my investment disclaimers, but we own it with free of debt. So a free of debt asset class, while the banks are toast, while the capital controls are instituted, while the stock market crashes and burns, while Warren Buffett sells all of his stocks, and so do the rest of the elites, and they will all be using their cash piles, which Warren Buffett has built, to buy your collapse. They will all be there. So Warren Buffett and all these sharks with giant teeth are all going to be there to buy your family's misery in the United States in the coming months. And I just want you to keep it in mind. They did the same thing in 2008 09. Warren Buffett received trillions of dollars worth of bailouts, billions to Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs would have had to declare bankruptcy in 2008-09. American Express had collapsed in 2008 and 09. Warren Buffett had that very famous picture where they put like that till around his neck. I'm looking for a word. Obama put it on him. And then Obama gave him free money from U.S. taxpayers to save Berkshire Hathaway, to save Goldman Sachs, to save American Express, to save Bank of America, to save all of these host of companies, Wells Fargo, etc. All of these would not exist. The too big to fail systemic giants that caused the collapse in the first place are more powerful than they were before. They create more of a systemic event than they did in 2008-09. This is why it'll be worse this time. 5, in our 7-step guide on how to exit the United States, but more importantly, protect you and your families and profit 1,000 freaking X during collapse. Turn off all forms of mainstream media, worthless political commentary and distractions, meaningless entertainment that doesn't further your life goals. Turn off and don't consume any poison foods, any ill lifestyle choices. I'll just kind of leave it at that. Avoid all institutions that are brainwashing you, like schools and modern educational systems and, punditry and forms of media that's just there for control. We see this in, the hospital system as well. Mainstream doctors, which are cowards and have no backbones and make money putting you on prescriptions. They're incentivized to keep you on the pill. Ladies and gentlemen, turn all of that off. Okay, get rid of everything that doesn't enhance your life, build towards your lifestyle goals, improve your skill set, create cash flows, build wealth, mainstream infrastructure, and any kind of dependencies that you have from centralized control. Here's some beautiful birds right now. And centralized power. Point 6, because again, they're counting on the fact you're dependent on them. The more dependent that you are to these tyrannical pricks, the easier it is for them to control you. When you're completely free, let's say you make all your money online, like I do. You generate cash flows from all over the world. You own real estate with no bank debt, so the banks don't own you. I'm not owned by any bank. None of my members are owned by a bank. They own everything debt-free. Think about this for a minute. The minute you've stepped outside of the system, you don't depend on them for anything. You don't depend on them for Social Security. You don't depend on them for health care. You don't depend on them for Medicare or anything like that. You become a free man. You become a free woman. You become completely independent. They hate that. You start growing your own food and you don't need to go to a grocery store. They no longer have control over you. You do understand this. You become rich. They no longer have control over you. You can do whatever you want. You can spend your money freely. You can buy whatever assets you want. You can even buy international passports if you're wealthy enough. All the elites do it. They have special passports. They're called golden visas. The Google founders bought these very exclusive visas because they're billionaires. They're in a different class. This is a feudal society in the United States. I hope you understand this. Feudalism. So they buy access. So where were the Google executives during the lockdowns? Overseas. Where was Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, during the lockdowns? He was in the Seychelles Islands. Gone. And then dictating domestic policy at home while they're sailing on their yachts. So again, money is power, but more importantly, energy and human capital is power. Skills are power. So you want to decentralize yourself completely. You want to decentralize your investments. This is different from diversification. Let me explain this to you. Decentralization ties into eliminating sovereign risk a little bit, but it also diversifies technological risk. So let me give you a basic example. Invest across multiple platforms with a proven asset class. What's the best proven real physical asset class in the world? Real estate, right? It's what islandproject.com does. What we've also done is decentralized it. What that means is we are diversified across platforms, not just sovereign nation states, but also technologies. See my intent to tokenize. When we tokenize, the physical asset with no bank debt, proven, a proven investment class, $33.5 million, is then decentralized across multiple technological platforms and trades as a new asset class on Coinbase, on Gemini, on all the major exchanges. So what we've just done there is we've decentralized the physical asset and diversified the risk technologically across multiple platforms. You know, we see this in the Bitcoin space today. And so what has this done? Well, it's fractionalized ownership. A lot of you still don't understand. When you buy islandproject.com, you truly own. If it's 30 units minimum, you own $30,000 of the diversified portfolio with 100% equity ownership. You are an owner that entitles you to cash flows, income distributions annually, large capital gains potential, some use, and it's tokenized. You get all of that and a whole lot more. Lifestyle, community. Want to go take a yacht out here in Thailand? Please do. That's what my members are doing. I have members all over the place and all the properties right now. Skiing, Park City. Well, not right now because it's the summer. Fly fishing in Park City right now. I have members in Maui right now hanging out. Like again, guys, income, large capital gains, tokenized, use, and 1,000x potential on the multi-billion-dollar blockchain. True fractional ownership. You're an owner with no bank debt. So you've removed the uncertainty out of the banking system. You've put it into an asset with no downside that's privately managed. You do understand this, right? How genius this is. Your money at a bank is a part of the public sphere. When the government comes in, right, the big bad government, and declares an emergency like they did during the lockdowns, they just institute capital controls at the banks they control. Private assets are outside of that. They're privately owned. The private billionaire class owns their private assets. They just fire up the Learjet or the yacht and they go sail to their location that they own during a crisis. This is what they did during the lockdowns. We've done the same thing with islandproject.com. For more information on that, see tiers based on the tier levels. There's 30K, 150K, 250K, 500, and 1,000 and up. So think about it. You deploy $1 million of Island Project. You have a long-term appreciating asset, income distributions, lifestyle enhancement, some use, and you're being tokenized on the blockchain. Think about that. If you buy a stock, let's say you bought Apple stock, which Warren Buffett's selling. You're watching your stock account go to zero. Okay, I don't know if Apple pays a dividend. Maybe they do. I can't remember. I remember in the past they didn't, but I think they do now. Right? So your stock's collapsing. You can't use your stock. You can't call Tim Cook and get a free new iPhone that costs $3,000. Okay? You can't sleep at your stock. You can't eat your stock. You can't do anything. And you're dependent on an IOU worth nothing, a piece of paper, versus a physical asset that you own. And by the way, Apple Computers is leveraged. They have debt. Apple Computers has enormous amounts of debt. All these companies on Wall Street have debt. So we're a no debt asset with cash flows, with capital appreciation, in the best locations in the world, true 100% ownership, some lifestyle enjoyment use, because that's just cool. And we have big plans, big plans. We've been negotiating contracts with private air charter, private jet companies for shared use cases for all members, yacht charters like you saw. You guys want to come out to Thailand? Please do. Make an investment. On board now, then call my dad and book some time. Take the freaking yacht out. Have a good time. What are you waiting for? So many of you overestimate the time that you still have left on this earth. I see this all the time. Even my brother did this. My brother was saving diligently for retirement. I always told him, Cody, you better go live your life, man. No guarantees you're alive next year. He was just holding on like it's got to be the perfect retirement, Chris. You know, when I'm 90 and I'm dead, I'm really going to enjoy myself. I'm going to see the whole world. Guess what? He never lived long enough to see any of it. My brother had a good life. I don't think he has any regrets, but I do know with 100% fact, because he even told me this on his deathbed. He's like, man, if I would have known I was getting cut out at 39 years old, man, I would have taken more European vacations. I would have, blown a little bit more on some fun and memories and things that you can never trade or get back. Like, in my opinion, we're a generation. I think I even fall into this area myself, but like, experiences are very valuable to me, right? Money in a bank with digits on a screen means nothing to me. I could care less. Like, no one's impressed by like, hey, my net worth is this on a screen somewhere. I think what's impressive is building an amazing family, having kids, being married to the same woman your entire life, like myself, having honor, integrity, loving God, being Christ forward, and then showing people through action how to change reality, build the future, and do something amazing for you and your family. So again, I stress, many of you are overestimating how much time you have left. Hey, what are you going to do if they launch a new Black Plague and 100 million people get wiped out? That's a possibility. Are you going to wish you were biting your fingernails over the US selection process a little bit more? Or are you going to wish you took more risk? I think you know the answer. I mean, I wake up every single day and the first thing I ask me, I always ask myself, I pray first, and I'm like, Christopher, if today's your last day, what are you going to do? And then I make a phone call. Yacht time, jet time, beach time, surfing time, making love to my wife time, hanging out with my kids time, working my businesses time, 1,000 freaking X on my cash flow time, looking at real estate. That's what I ask myself. I don't know what most people do. I feel like most people look in the mirror, hate themselves, then go into the drudgery of the job that they hate, then get screwed, then get fired, then have no certainty of the future, then get conned by Wall Street. It's one big con. Your stockbroker is a con artist. Sells you on a fake illusion reality that as long as you listen to him, that someday in the future, long off in the distance, when you're gray and old and have cancer and you're on your deathbed, that someday you'll go live your retirement dream. No, you won't. The only one living the retirement dream is the con artist stockbroker that conned you, who told you not to buy Bitcoin, by the way. Fire your financial advisors. Remove your money out of the bank now. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just rich telling you the truth. We've built the ark, and deploy your capital now. Stop buying into the con. You don't have time. And this is what I'm telling you. This is our 7-step guide to exiting the United States as if your life depends on it, because it does, with your money, with your time, with your talent, with your skills, with your families, with your communities. God first, faith forward. Tokenize the asset class is what we're doing. Creating liquidity, upside for all members, which is unlimited. The markets will dictate what our portfolio is worth. So for example, the markets are going, in a free market, they're going to price island projects, blockchain, based on the assets that we own, just like any other company, right? So anyone that buys island project in the future in the blockchain market, which will be public at that point, will price our aggregate capitalization, or the value of what island project is based on our assets, 33.5 million appreciating and growing, all the physical properties we own with no bank debt, the cash flows that are generated every year, the exposure that we have online, which is millions and millions of people. I mean, my intangible value online is hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. You do realize that. There are very few people worldwide that have the intangible value that I do. The ability to disrupt markets, the ability with branding, the ability to get a message out to millions of eyeballs worldwide. And we will be priced by our talent, by our management, by the vision, by future investments, with the future potential of the property portfolio's growth long term, those cash flows, and the whole, so many more things. Our ability to expand, our proprietary blockchain technology, which I haven't even revealed that roadmap yet. We've been building for years. The old real estate model's dead. If you're a real estate agent, expect to be out of a job. Have you seen what the NAR is doing? They're getting rid of your commissions too. You're toast, dude. They don't care about you. You see how these big entities that are supposedly there to protect all of you are now screwing you? The reason they are is because of new technology. They don't need you. They're going to eliminate you, replace you by robots and AI. They don't like you. Whole real estate market's going to change. I've developed proprietary patented technology with our blockchain technology, which will completely change the ballgame of real estate transactions, real estate ownership, real estate use cases, fractionalization of the asset class, the ability to use equity as a part of the blockchain with various platforms that I'll all be going over very soon. Again, once we go public, it's too late. So once we go public, the founders round will have been closed. Once we go public, there will never be another opportunity for you to get in at the founders rate, and you're going to miss the entire opportunity. Again, I've been told for years things are a scam, like social media, Bitcoin, e-commerce. I mean, the list goes on, and all those people have been wrong, and they're still broke. Never listen to a cynic. I've heard every objection and cynic my whole life, and I never pay attention to them. For example, when I used to be broke in a basement, when I first started social media, I was stupid, an idiot, couldn't make any money. I was just broke. Now that I'm rich, People are like, oh, this guy's a fraud. Like, how dare him enjoy himself on the fruits of his labor for 20 years and all the risks that he took and his great Bitcoin advice and the fact that he's dominated and now he's built this internationalized physical. Like, there's always a critic somewhere. There's always a critic. I always say, love all people, but turn every critic into a believer. Turn the believers into customers. Turn the customers into referrals and keep scaling. That's typically how it works on the internet. I've always told you, again, let people laugh, mock, while you step out of the Learjet or the yacht. That's how it works online, too. We see this all the time with a cast of characters, too. It's a reverse psychology like meme with people. They hate you, but then grow to love you. I have a lot of people that have even come to me, major investors, like, man, originally I was like thrown off guard by you because you're so in my face and so flagrant. You're telling me a lot of stuff I don't like to hear, but then I realized you were right, and now I love you. Here's all my money. Because again, a lot of life is psychology too. You must understand this. Again, like, the country was founded, the United States, by just a couple wild men dudes. Like a couple guys that are like, hey bro, let's start our own country in the United States of America. Like, it wasn't like some dramatic, organized, business plan. My son, for example, asked me yesterday, he said, Dad, how can I start a business? I say, you don't start a business, sell something. Sell something. Find something that people need. Don't start a business. I know tons of people like that. They've been starting a business their whole life. You don't have a business. Okay? You don't start a business, you sell something. You sell a product or a service. You create cash flows, or you find a solution to someone's problem that they're willing to trade money for it. Then later on, after you're making a bunch of money, form the business. Do it in reverse. Yeah, like people have no understanding of entrepreneurship at all. It's always amazing to me. There's a great book, I highly recommend it, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. I've mentioned it before. After reading it, I personally 10x'd my net worth immediately. I also really like Tony Robbins, although a lot of people don't like him for some reason. I 10x'd my cash flows after reading many of his books. Highly recommend him as well. I love the book Think and Grow Rich. I love the other one by the same author regarding something about the devil. Read that as well. That's really interesting on psychology, and he has a really interesting life history, a life path as well. Highly recommend that. I recommend that you read books about psychology, the art of war. Robert Greene has some great books as well about psychological power. Again, everything is an idea. A lot of people externalize and project their own insecurities on others. Like, my wife says this about me. She says, Christopher, one thing I love about you and I admire about you is you're never tearing people down, you're only lifting them up. Because she sees me. When I hang around people that are more successful than me, that have more money, and I hang around a lot of billionaires, for those of you that don't know, and I bring you inside information from those people all the time. I just don't mention them by name because I can't, and I would never do that, keep my conversations private. But she always says, I always find it amazing because she says other people that we know tear people down. They feel insecure, right? They're very insecure if someone's successful. And she says, you're not like that at all. You're just like someone that's an open book that wants to learn, that asks all these questions and then emulates and puts it into action. She also tells me I'm the best in the world putting things into action when other people can't or other people refuse to. I'm very good at action. You've seen this too, right? I told you I'm going to build Island Project. Told you we were going to raise $33.5 million. Told you we were going to buy exclusive real estate all over the world, and we've done it. We've done it, and it's just been 2 years. And I've barely gotten started. Now I'm tokenizing it to $1 billion+ and making all my members rich. Like, again, actions speak louder than words. Nothing's real, guys. Nothing's real. None of it is real. It's all an illusion. Everything is about life. Money isn't real. Money isn't real. Human mind, power, okay? This alternate reality that you create ripples into the universe, creates cash flows, creates income, creates capital gains, creates opportunity for you and your family. Someone's got to do it. It should be you. Again, every major successful billionaire worldwide, even the founding of this country was just an idea. Some guy just decided. The founding fathers were doing shots one night, okay? And they're like, dude, we should start a new country, bro. This would be fantastic. And then they just put their butts on boats and planted a flag. It's no different. When we conquered the West, a bunch of drunken cowboys, yeah! And they went out west with their, like Little House on the Prairie, built their freaking log cabins. A lot of them drowned and got disease along the way, went on the Oregon Trail, took everyone with them and planted the freaking flag. That's what they did. So it's amazing to me how so many people think like we must obey centralized power. Whatever these centralized controllers tell me, I will obey. They're not obeying anything. So again, bring a little cowboy into your life. I think this is why I have so many Texas investors. I got a lot of oil men, a lot of very wealthy people out of Texas invested in islandproject.com across the board in Dallas and Houston and various locations all over Texas, because again, we are the patriot movement, right? People have woken up to the fact that if America is broken, build a new one. It all lives inside of all of you tuning in. If there's no opportunity to make $1 million in the traditional financial system, invest in this and make $1 million. We've created it. See, we don't even have any competition. We soon will, though. BlackRock's moving in, Jeff Bezos is moving in. All of this is going mainstream. This is why I positioned the project to profit from when the big oligarchs eventually moved in. We've already had offers for major investment. I've had offers that my father and I have turned down where we've had various entities want to deploy 20, 30, 50, upwards to $100 million into the project because they've seen how we've built something from nothing. Just two guys and all of our amazing members and my crew back in Maui, and we've proven the model, the success model. So there's a lot of people out there that have wanted to deploy tens of millions of dollars, upward to hundreds of millions of dollars, but we've turned them down. Why? Why would I do that? We don't want to be controlled, right? Don't want anyone telling our members what to do. We want to be completely independent, completely democratized. And we've created something special by and for the people that has really erupted into the tree of life and liberty and freedom and just all this amazingness, and created an opportunity that's never existed before. But in the future, if my members, for example, let's say BlackRock comes by 10 years from now, after our portfolio is trading at, $1.5 billion or $10 billion or whatever it is, and they say, hey, Christopher and team, we want to buy 20% of the portfolio for $5 billion. I'll present that to my members, and if everyone wants to cash out at 1,000x their investment, that would completely be up to them. And we could sell 20% of the portfolio, cash in millions and millions of dollars for all of our investors, and still hold 80%. Like again, there's so many various opportunities, so many use cases for this asset class, because once you've got the golden goose, you never want to give it up, guys. All the most powerful, wealthy families do what Island Project does. It's how I designed it in diversified form. I use various models of things that I've studied in years past, not just with blockchain and Bitcoin, but also like ideas like seasteading, for example, creating independent autonomous nation states that could survive on their own as new Americas, with its own philosophy, with its own ecosystem, with its own values, with its own community. Much of these ideas we've seen before, it's just no one's been able to physically put it into use. You probably even read in the papers. I read about it all the time where they say like a person has an idea kind of like similar to Island Project, but they haven't built anything. We've physically pulled it off. This is what I want you to understand. Call my dad today. He'll go through the long list with you at 808-442-2934. You can text him. That is preferred so he can get back to you. Text your name. He'll call you back at 808-442-2934, and he'll go over every single property, their worth, their cap rates, okay, the use case potential, the tiers. He'll go over all the details of the host of amazing world-class assets and exclusive properties that we own, how you can become an owner today, get your money out of the banks from what I predicted is now happening. World War III, stock market crash, dollar collapse, economic reset, CBDCs, the Bitcoin revolution, and so much more. Again, all of it's panning out, just like I said. And then connect that infrastructure worldwide for all members. So that's what we're doing is we build multiple flagships worldwide. Our members can use the asset class worldwide. They've also, even from a financial perspective, even if you're a member and you don't use any of the properties ever, it's just strictly an investment, which it is for a lot of our members. Just like when you buy a stock, you can't use the stock. It provides the peace of mind and diversification that they've got a piece of the rock in multiple areas, that they're not just in one location. Let me give you an example of my friend that bought the 3 condos. They're fairly wealthy. They live in Maui. Most people are in Maui. You can't afford to live in Maui unless you're wealthy a lot of the time. They bought 3 condos. But here's what happened. They're not diversified enough like Island Project is. 2 of their condos now, because the governor is a dick, is attempting to get rid of like certain property types and the daily rental income. So they've got 2 condos that they depended on, which is their life dependency for a certain amount of cash flow each month to be generated. But because of political risk, those properties will probably lose value, and they made a bad move because the government came in later and changed the rules. This is why Island Project owns dozens of properties across multiple sovereigns, different vacation zones, different states. It's why we're in Park City. It's why we're soon to be in Thailand, Bali, other locations as well across Asia, Tokyo, Singapore, Dubai, etc., is you want to eliminate the risk that you would in concentrated positions. Something that we can do most effectively with Island Project that you can't do even if you're independently wealthy on your own. One of the reasons and primary reasons we designed the project. I mean, even for myself, I had to figure out what to do with all the capital that we created with the Bitcoin profits and all the crypto gains, as those have 1000x'd. You know, I've had many investments 1000x over the last 10 years since I got started in social media and Bitcoin and crypto. What to do. And I listen to my father on this too. My dad has always told me, Christopher, make all your money concentrated. So I took that advice, made all my money in my businesses and in crypto, going all in, betting everything. And then he says, once you get rich, this is what he always told me as a kid, then start to diversify. And so that's what I've done. That's why I own so much real estate now. Island Project is an all-in investment on the real estate play. Once that's worth billions of dollars, we'll diversify a little bit more. Just keep doing that. For those of you that don't know, our blockchain technology will also own Bitcoin. It will also own some gold and silver as well. A lot of you don't know that. So our blockchain makeup, once I reveal the portfolio allocation to all of you, for the founders, etc., how it will go public, what its holdings are. Not only does islandproject.com hold the real estate, the no bank debt real estate, it's also going to hold some gold, some silver, and Bitcoin as we buy more and more Bitcoin over time as digital gold. And it's not going to be, you know, a significant part of the portfolio, but it'll be, you know, a certain percentage, which I'll reveal to you, is another insulator, okay, to all these risks. Like, again, it's very difficult to determine, you know, which asset's going to go wild at any given time. You want to be diversified. So a lot of interesting things we're doing there as well with our roadmap. Now, here's the bottom line, and this is my opinion. You don't want to depend on your government for anything. You don't want to depend on centralized authority, force, or a single employer, your income, for example, for anything. You don't want to depend on politics for nothing. Who gets in, who doesn't get in, one party versus the other. You don't want to be dependent on any of that. Okay, you want the certainty of success in any environment, under any political leadership, under any market environment, under any stock market, under any fiat environment, like we're seeing with the yen carry trade now unravel. You want to create certainty, which is what I do with every single thing that I do, every investment's what we've done with islandproject.com, under any circumstance. And I've told you this for 2 years now, since we declared 1776 and launched on July 4th in 2022, that it didn't matter what happened. If banks fail, which I'm expecting them to, we don't have any bank debt. That's why we don't have any bank debt. We'll buy more during the collapse. If things keep going up and everything just keeps hyperinflating, then our portfolio turns into $200-300 million overnight. We don't even have to do anything. We play both sides, guarantee the win, just like in life. You know how you guarantee the win in sports is through training, work ethic, strategy, team effort, great coaching, wonderful mentors. I talk about this all the time. I've had world-class mentors my whole life. My father, one of the best businessmen, best people I know. Faith first, God-focused family man. My dad is a man of service to other people, one of his great attributes. This is why he's so wonderful with all of our members. Worldwide, you know, my dad's very rich. He sold his company in his 40s. Very successful, retired for a number of years, got bored, realized that wasn't the meaning to life, decided to join me after all of my amazing success, is on board, and we teamed up. Now we're changing the entire world together, and we're doing it in a very meaningful way. Also just to honor my late brother, because we just think that's awesome. Put a negative, turn it into a positive. I always say take a turd and turn it into a freaking diamond and polish it up. Take your tragedy or your failures and make it something beautiful and paint that baby 1,000 freaking X. And do it in the honor and the glory of God. So you don't want to depend on the government for anything because governments are failing. You don't want to depend on the banks for anything because they're failing and they're broke and they're going to confiscate and steal all your money. You don't want to depend on your stockbroker who's been lying to you. You want to fire your stockbroker today, especially if they told you not to buy Bitcoin. Fire them. Okay, they're stupid and must be fired. Again, your stockbroker has been telling you not to buy Bitcoin since it was under 1,000, but they're now attempting to sell it to you through BlackRock, a scam. So fire your financial advisors. Do that today. You don't need them. All a financial advisor does is take a fee. We don't charge any annual fees. A lot of you don't know that. No annual fees. My management team only makes money if my members do. We only make money if we collect rents. We only make money as the managers if the portfolio is rising in value. We only make money if we're able to successfully tokenize the project. No annual fees. Your stockbroker charges you a fee so he can scam you. Right? He charges you 1%, 1.5%. Maybe he's writing covered calls for you. And that way he can sit on his ass, tell you not buy Bitcoin. He can buy his Rolex, protect his family, and screw you. That's what your stockbroker does. And sorry, there are good ones out there, but I'm telling you, most of them, fire them. Fire them. Tell them the general told you to. That's my opinion. Don't depend on the governments for anything. Don't depend on politics for anything. Don't depend on a political leader for anything. I also believe you should create multiple income streams. You should do it passively with islandproject.com. Our properties create passive income while you sleep. That's one of the secrets to wealth creation. I think you should consider earning income online. That way you're not dependent on a single employer. We're moving much towards a gig economy now. A lot of you know this. And again, we see all the restructuring and firings on Wall Street. Intel just canned 15% of its workforce. Thousands and thousands of people. Google just fired tens of thousands of people. Facebook firing tens of thousands. Microsoft firing tens of thousands. So you're not safe at an employer. People always ask me, Christopher, is it risky being an entrepreneur? It's risky not being an entrepreneur. No one can fire you when you're an entrepreneur. You just keep working. You create innovating. You keep making money. You keep scaling. No one can stop you from doing anything. If you have a single employer, you've concentrated all your risk. So some dude in a suit someone tells him from a higher position to fire you and you're done. Then you're on the streets. You have nothing. Honestly, I've always seen it as a risk to centralize your power. And I'm not saying don't work for other people. There are great employers out there. I know a lot of people very successful in the corporate world that have made a lot of money. I'm just giving you my opinion. In a disruptive environment, there's far more opportunity to be an entrepreneur than there are in a lot of other areas, especially as America scales down with less upward mobility in the future. As they socialize, as they move to UBI, which is what they're going to do, and they've already started to roll out. You also want to digitize yourself, essentially. Take advantage of technology to be a free man and a free woman. Tuning in, and I've already talked about this, but this is really how you establish and build your own country. You can do that today. All you have to do is be the wild man and the wild woman, baby. Yeah. Woohoo! Yeah! You can do it today just like the founding fathers. Just like they established the 13 colonies. Declare your own independence in 1776 along with us. Text my dad at 808-442-2934. Get rich. Buy a little Bitcoin. Buy a little island project, baby. Learn about our host of properties. Live the dream. Take the yacht out. Take the yacht out. Do some fly fishing. Ski Park City with us this year. Stay in Maui. Got members staying at all the properties right now, baby. Make the money, baby! Before we declare our tokenization and empower our founders with a worldwide investment class that is not just kicking ass, but is changing the world, saving people, quite literally, bringing them to God with true Christian freedom fighters like myself, my father, our entire team, and our thousands of members from 12 countries worldwide. It's not a requirement that you are a Christian. We have people of various faiths, but we have a lot of Christians in the project, probably because that resonates. And I'm always talking about God, and I'm always talking about Jesus. Although imperfect, I always tell you about the name of Christ. You tune into a lot of people, they never tell you about Jesus. Do you see Tony Robbins telling you about Jesus? No. Do you see a lot of these motivational speakers telling you about Jesus? No. No, they don't, because it's risky to talk about Jesus. Right? People tell you, don't talk about Jesus, don't talk about politics, don't do this at the dinner table. I do the exact opposite. I'm real. Deal with it. Okay? A lot of people aren't real, they're fake. They're cloaked. They're the wolves in sheep clothing is what they are. They pretend. I'm not pretending. I am who I am. I'm imperfect, but I always tell you the truth. I get things right. Most of the time, I've been right about what I've been telling you for 20 years now. I'm right about the stock market collapsing. I'm right about World War III. I've been right about BlackRock moving into Bitcoin. I'm right about them moving into fractional real estate. So we're the first in the world to do it, but we've done it for the people, and you're running out of time to onboard and get in while you still can, and take advantage of that. Take advantage of that opportunity, because in another 5 years, the opportunity will be lost if you didn't take the action. If you deployed your capital in a worthless shit token and you bought dog shit coin, expect it to go to zero, and I'm telling you to your face, it's going to go to zero. You're going to be broke, you're not going to get any gains, and you're going to be screwed. Stop wasting money playing a casino and buy the sure thing. Islandproject.com is the sure thing. It's why I'm the biggest investor in Islandproject.com. I've deployed my own money, voted with my own wallet on my family's future, on the thing that I believe in, that I know is a sure thing, that wins in any environment. Doesn't matter who the politicians are, what government's in power, what leaders in power. Doesn't matter if one country implodes or another one's successful. We're diversified. One country implodes, we just go to the other one and deploy all the assets in the one that's not imploding. This is what all the financial elites are doing. It's what all the technologists are doing. It's what Peter Thiel is doing. He owns property in New Zealand. The Reddit founder, for example, and other founders have a insurance policy. As America burns, they call up a helicopter and they flee to their bug outs. Where's your bug out? Do you have a plan B? Do you have a plan B? Because the most decisive action you could take today, the sure thing, the 1000X, is islandproject.com. The best thing you can do at the very least is text my dad. Give him a text, 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. Hey, Papa John, this is Bob. This is Jane. This is Tyler. I need to learn more now. Christopher, the general told me. Call me. Here's my number. Boom, he'll call you. Might take my dad a day to get back to you. He's extremely busy. But he's very diligent. My dad's on the phone 24/7. That's like, mostly when you see me take a picture with my dad, he's not even looking at the camera. He's like on the phone or on the phone responding to someone. So my dad's phone has been blowing up. I want to welcome aboard all of our brand new members. It just jumped in the tier levels. That will not just help you to reach your investment goals with us, but that also provides even more use to our amazing collection of exclusive properties. Keep in mind, there's companies that will sell you fractional ownership, but you don't get any gains or upside. You can buy fractional real estate right now. People are already doing this. You don't get any gains. You don't get any capital upside, no income. You get nothing. They just sell you a little time. And then at the end of it, if you sell, you're going to maybe get your money back, maybe worse. A lot of those companies have gone bankrupt because they don't have a business model. There's no business model. There was a company, for example, I met with an investor. He's very wealthy. He was coming out looking at a $20, $30 million property with my father and I, and he told me he had deployed $2 million into a company called Exclusive Resorts. He's an investor of Island Project now. But he was telling me, him and his family, they're very wealthy, so $2 million is nothing to him. He deployed $2 million, and he said, yeah, like the company just went under. Like basically there was no business model at all. I'm like, well, did they pay anything to you? Like, did you get any income? He's like, no. I'm like, do you get any upside if the properties appreciate? He's like, no. Like again, you can buy some of these things now and you get nothing. They're not tokenizing. There's no 1000X upside. There's no gains. It's not true ownership. When you buy a timeshare, you don't own anything. You own nothing. You can't get out of a timeshare. There's no liquidity. Islandproject.com, read our terms, see our docs, text my father. You can sell at profit, at will. Your 100K investment's worth, $250K in the future. See our terms. There is a 3-year minimum holding period for all members as a part of the founders round. You can sell. You can take half the profits, all the profits, 10%, 20%, reinvest it, do whatever you want. Again, there's never been an investment vehicle where you could have direct exposure to the best asset class in the world. You could do it democratized for just 30K. You can be 20 years old and own this and own beachfront. Think about that. That's never been humanly possible. I wish someone had invented it when I was 20 years old. I would have bought the crap out of islandproject.com, made me and my family super rich. I would have bought as much as I could. I would have started with 30K, then 60K, then 100K, then 250K. I would have kept scaling. I mean, I create the ideas that are the solutions to the problems all of you have. We just went through 7 points, 7 strategies to exit the system, to get out of the United States while you still can, to diversify at the very least your investments, to get out of the banks, protect yourself, enjoy freedom, prosperity, longevity, health, wellness, joy. The list goes on and on. And I'll tell you too, never take advice and never make an investment with someone who's not successful. If somebody's selling you supplements, for example, and they're fat, do not buy their supplements. If somebody's giving you advice on how to make money and they're not rich, don't take the advice. I see this all the time. People make mistakes. They're like, well, I don't know, my family told me to do it this way. I'm like, is your family rich? And they're like, no, actually, my dad's broke. I'm like, why did you take the advice? Why would you take the advice from someone who doesn't have what you want? Again, if you're looking to a spiritual leader, only follow a spiritual leader who's being led by Christ, who actually is a good person, that has a family, and then I wanted to talk about that today. That is actually another major tenet, family values. Family. So, my wife doesn't go on camera because she doesn't like to go on camera and she doesn't want to be a part on media, right? There's risks to media. So that's a personal choice. But for those of you who don't know, I'm a family man. A lot of you don't know that. I'm a baller on every single level. And in the most important thing as a father with many, many children, a beautiful wife, dedication to her, 20 years. I've been married to my beautiful wife. Honestly, like the things that really matter, I have a lot of financial success too, but I got it all. So I want you to know, when you tune into me, you tune into a real man. You tune into somebody who's got it all. You're tuning into a lot of people, for example, and it's easy. I'm not against being single or anything. If you can't find the right girl or you get a divorce, that's okay. I understand you shouldn't try for that. I get it. Life isn't perfect, but a lot of people tune into a lot of these, financial gurus and stuff, but they don't really have it all. They're single, very focused just on themselves. They're not really helping anyone else. In my opinion, I have a lot more respect for family values. I have a respect for people that honor their families, build their families, protect their families. And what I'm telling you is that you're tuned into a real baller, as you see with my very handsome son, Austin. And, I'm very blessed by all of that, and I'm very humbled by all that. All glory to the King. I know not everybody is blessed to find, their soulmate and those kinds of things. But that's something a lot of you don't know about me. My wife actually said you should share that with your audience so that they understand that that's the man that you are. Because a lot of people just see me and they're like, oh, he's just a crazy guy on the internet yelling from his balcony. Oh, he thinks he's all rich and blah, blah, blah. Well, no, I'm living my dream. I've 1000x in every single way. I take my own advice. I'm massively successful. And where it counts, I'm the most successful. And I actually think that matters. And I think, honestly, it's a selling point to all of our investors as well that know that about us and know that about my family. Talk to my father when you meet my father. Anyone that's ever met my father and I gives us more money, by the way. Anyone that's ever met my dad and I gives us more money immediately. Anyone that's ever stayed at one of our world-class properties deploys more capital as soon as they stay there. In Park City, in Maui, in Oahu, in Waikiki, I haven't had one person not deploy more capital. Why? Because again, they've seen what we've built, they've met the real people, they see my family, they see God-focused, amazing, enthusiastic, crazy. Yes, I'm crazy. It's good to be crazy and nuts when you're an entrepreneur. If you're not crazy, my dad needs me and I need my dad. My dad's the cool, calm, collect guy, right? He can be in a financial storm and he's like at peace, right? Like nothing affects my dad. He's calm as a cucumber. But my dad needs me because, as an entrepreneur, you've got to be insane, right? So I'm nuts and crazy, but we need each other. The best entrepreneurs are crazy. Look at Elon Musk, freaking nutbag. That's why he's the world's wealthiest man, supposedly. They're all nutty, all of them are. Mark Zuckerberg's on the spectrum. They're all nuts. So I'm nuts. I'm glad to say it. I love saying I'm nuts. Of course I'm nuts. That's why I'm rich. That's why I'm the 1000x guy. That's why I'm a general of islandproject.com. I'm crazy. Because crazy people pull it off. The founding fathers were insane. They were out of their freaking mind. They literally established the 13 colonies from nothing and just said, oh, we're in charge now. Again, be a little crazy. You don't have to be the enormous risk taker I am. I realize not all of you are built that way. I'm built that way because I don't underestimate how much time I have. I know I pray. I think God's blessed me for a very long, fruitful life because he's got a purpose for me, like he's got a purpose for you. Got a purpose for everything. He got a purpose for my brother, saving him, bringing him to the kingdom of God. Such a beautiful story. one of my best life's experiences. And but my point is, you don't have to be so wild. What I'm telling you to do is take a little risk. I'm telling you to step outside of the box. Dip a little big toe in the water today with your first 100K into islandproject.com. See what happens. Deploy 100K, then call my dad and say, hey, John, I want to come out and use the place in Park City. Then come out, see what you bought. Touch it. Go out to dinner with my dad and I. Have some appetizers with us. Talk about Jesus. We'll talk about our, the things I can't talk about on camera. Ask me anything. The topics that we're not allowed to discuss. Hang out. Have a little lunch. Go to the beach with me. So many of you are in inaction, not taking any risks at all, and you're allowing these people, these very evil people, to dominate you and your families. Well, we don't have any of that at theislandproject.com. We are the dominators. Whether or not this is sports, money, family, God, lifestyle, we're here to win. And I don't know about you, but I see a lot of you guys playing it safe out there. Well, safety is the enemy in this environment. Yes, you want your money safe. You want to get it out of the banks into a sure thing with no bank debt. But this is the time to take risks before collapse. This is the time to start the business before things get really bad. This is the time to internationalize. And my belief has always been, don't just talk, show. So again, I've told you it's important to internationally diversify. That's why you see me on camera, internationally diversify. I told you it's important to buy beachfront homes. That's why we bought all of them, right? I told you it's important to buy Bitcoin. I told you it's important to tokenize. It's important to take part in the blockchain revolution, all things we're doing and we've built and we're currently building. Because again, the actions are important. Have a family, have children, homeschool your kids. That's what we do. No one's in an institution. No one's being brainwashed. We've removed from control from government power and the oligarchs that frankly hate us. They don't like us. They don't like you either. They hate your guts. Why are you listening to these people? They're not even Christians, a lot of them. They're dictating policy and politics and economies. They're not even following God. They're a part of the system and the cabal, for crying out loud. I might not be perfect, but I'm leading for the kingdom of Christ. And I know a lot of you are as well. Our members are. I am indebted to you tuning in. I am in honor to all the members. And that's why I work so hard, and that's why I come on camera all the time. I don't have to do this. I do this because I'm changing the world through the power of Christ and offering a solution for all of us and all of you tuning in to onboard something impeccable, unparalleled, beyond what has ever been built before, and we're changing lives. That's what we're doing, because that's what I think has meaning in what most people overestimate. They have a lot of time when you don't. My brother, dead, 39. Dead. Left a daughter, left a wife, gone. Lives in heaven. Right? I know a lot of people like this. One of my friends lost his father tragically to pancreatic, 50. Done. Happens all the time. Maybe you're perfectly healthy. You get into a car, boom, done. It's over. Again, stop overestimating that you have time. God's in control. God's in control. I know that the day I go, He's in control, baby. He's in control. He's the Lord. He's the all-powerful. And the same thing with Island Project, same thing with the business too. I'm leading as a manager, okay, in faith. God's in charge. God is the one providing the wind and the sail. We've only been able to do this and pull all this off because of Him. Okay, I'm not, I'm a smart guy, but I'm not the guy pulling it off. God commanded the digital Noah's Ark. God came to me in a vision, told me to build it. It's why we've built it. This is why we have it. This is why my members own it. It was here to protect you, the people, to democratize true ownership of the best asset class in the world during all this economic, financial, political, world war tyranny that is now ensuing during the digital Great Reset. So again, I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that as I'm leading the project, right, and I'm an imperfect vessel, that whom I'm following is the guy I'm on my knees to every single day in prayer, and praying to and saying, God, drive, baby, drive 1,000 freaking X and I'll follow. And I ask all the time, I ask Him to do it, and I call on His power, and I watch Him. My wife tells me this all the time too, even my father, because our investments that we've bought are total blessings. They're miracles, quite frankly. especially with some of the real estate we've just purchased in Park City. It was the first listing in 2 years. Nothing's been available in 2 years. We were lucky to deploy $6 million. I give grace to God that we were even able to deploy it. You can't buy where we bought. Nothing's available. All the financial elites and private equity people own all of it. But it really is to the glory of the King, is what I'm telling you. So he's in charge of it all. He's in charge of everything. Again, the digits on a screen don't matter, folks. None of that matters. What you're doing today matters. And you know what I think the biggest message that I've had for you guys, my whole life and time on camera, since 08 and 09 when I started Green Wave, was to live. 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 That's what the 1000X mindset is. I want you to live before it's over. I do every single day. So choose the 1000X. Choose to be successful. Choose to dominate. Choose God. Choose faith. Choose the winning team. Choose the digital Noah's Ark. Choose the best investment class in the world. Choose your family. Choose your friends. Choose your churches. Choose to fight back peacefully. Choose to rise, is what I'm telling you all. And it is an honor and is extremely humbling. And I love you all. Please like and share this video. Incredible value. I just went over 7 major points on how to exit the United States now, but not just for protection, not just for the defense, but how to posture, how to make money, how to create cash flows, how to get those capital gains, how to participate in a turnkey asset class, tokenized, blockchain, Bitcoin, the whole 9 yards, and enhance your life, your families, your lifestyle. Do some really cool things before you die, because it's funny how people just woke up to the fact after the mainstream media fearmongered them the last couple of years. It's like everybody learned for the first time. They're like, oh, if you get this thing, you're not going to make it. Like, that's not new. None of us are going to make it. We're all going there, baby, if we believe in God. We're all going there if we've served Him. We all are going there if we've asked for grace and salvation. So, newsflash, don't overestimate how much time you have. And for you baby boomers out there, I have investors well in their 80s and up. I just want to honor you today too, and just want you to know how thankful I am for all of you and our entire membership, because what you've done has really mattered. Voting with your wallets, owning the best project in the world matters. It matters to the future generations. It matters to your kids and your grandkids. You've changed the world. And I want you to know that that's a guarantee. You've already impacted the world and changed things for the better forever. Island Project is a massive tidal wave for success. It is a massive tidal wave for patriotism. It is a massive tidal wave. It is a lightning rod for truth and liberty and honor and God and faith in Christ. And so I just want you to know how powerful you've been, how powerful you are, how important that is. And it's why we continue to lead on the front lines on your behalf. Look forward to meeting you all very, very soon, a lot more of you. We have members coming in, staying at all properties worldwide in various locations. Text my dad at 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. Upgrade now into the various tiers while you still can, and then have peace of mind. While the banks collapse, while the stock market crashes, while all these heinous events continue, while World War III erupts over in Israel, we're praying for them, but it's going to get much, much worse. Have peace of mind. You made the right move with the winning team, the winning investment, the guys that say the name of Jesus Christ, lead by the name of Jesus Christ, although imperfect, do it every single day, and have done what we've said. That's the most important thing. Have built what we actually said we were going to build. All glory to Jesus Christ. We are the Olympic gold medalists, the real ones, not the ones you're tuning in on TV that aren't, that are changing, what. So fight back. Stop putting up with the tyranny. Stop listening to people that do not have your best interest in mind. And join the digital Noah's Ark. See our terms and disclaimers. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not investment advice. Not available to the public. This is a private placement. See if you qualify. Contact my dad, and/or go to islandproject.com and fill out a 3 to 5 minute app You can fill that out very quickly to the best of your ability, sign it and fund. We accept ACH, wire transfer, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all major cryptos, even credit and debit card. You can also add your units as an existing member simply by filling out an additional app. If you need any manual help rolling over retirement accounts or IRAs, text my father 808-442-2934. He can help you with rolling over your financial accounts so that you become a direct, self-directed owner of what you see behind me, all of our amazing multi-million-dollar real estate worldwide. Again, we've designed access to the Lamborghini, the Rolex, and the Ferrari to the best that your money can buy, but we've done it fractionalized, democratized, by and for the American people worldwide. Because America is an idea, and we've built the new America. And I am General Greene. Love you all. Links below and up here.